There's a knock at the door, and standing there is someone you haven't seen in years, a friend from the past. Your heart skips. Memories of shared laughter, youthful adventures, and simpler times rush back. But as you talk, something feels off. The warmth of nostalgia is quickly replaced by questions. Have they changed? Have you? Is this reconnection a gift or a weight? Sometimes what looks like an open door is a trap, and letting the past back in can cost you more than you realize. But how do you know when to embrace someone from your past and when to let them stay there? If you've ever wondered whether it's better to hold on or let go, you're not alone. Life is full of transitions, and each one challenges us to protect our peace, manage emotional energy, and build meaningful connections. Today, we'll unpack the hidden truths about reconnecting with old friends, using insights from Stoic philosophy and modern science to help you navigate this delicate terrain. Stay with me as we dive into lessons that could redefine your relationships and safeguard your well-being. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more timeless wisdom tailored to men seeking clarity and purpose in their lives. Let's step into this together and discover what it truly means to move forward. Number 1. Nostalgia is not reality. Nostalgia has a way of creeping up on you, doesn't it? You hear an old song, catch a familiar scent, or see a name pop up on your social feed. Suddenly, you're pulled back in time, remembering the laughter, the late-night talks, and the simpler days. For a moment, it feels warm, even comforting. But here's the thing about nostalgia. It's a lens that softens the rough edges and filters out the imperfections. It's not the full picture. Take a man in his 50s. He reconnects with an old friend he hasn't seen in decades after spotting their name in a reunion invite. They meet for coffee, expecting to revive the spark of their youthful camaraderie. But as the conversation unfolds, he realizes they're worlds apart. What once felt effortless now feels forced. The jokes don't land the same way, and the connection they had seems frozen in the past that no longer exists. He leaves that meeting not rejuvenated, but oddly drained. That's the trick of nostalgia. It can make you long for what was without reminding you why it ended. As Seneca once said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The past serves a purpose to teach us, to shape us, but it isn't meant to be relived. Life moves forward, and so do we. Nostalgia, while beautiful, can blind you to reality. It often makes you miss not the person, but the version of yourself that existed when you were with them. Maybe you were younger, braver, or more carefree. Maybe the world seemed simpler, and that friendship mirrored the freedom you felt. But that moment in time is gone, and no amount of reconnecting can recreate it. Now take a step back. Think about the last time you considered reaching out to someone from your past. Were you longing for their presence, or were you chasing a feeling, one tied to who you were back then? Be honest with yourself. If it's the latter, trying to bring them back into your life may only lead to disappointment. Reflect on this. What would happen if you looked forward instead of backward? What if, instead of revisiting old connections, you poured that energy into the relationships you have today? As Marcus Aurelius wrote, dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Let yourself cherish the memories, but don't let them dictate your present. Write them down. Smile when they cross your mind, and carry the lessons forward. But remember, the past is not reality. It's a chapter already written. The pen is in your hand now. What story will you choose to write next? Number 2. Emotional energy is finite. Protect it. Emotional energy. You might not think about it often, but it's one of the most valuable resources you have. Unlike time, which ticks away regardless of what you do, your emotional energy ebbs and flows. It's finite, and it needs care. So, here's the real question. Are you spending it wisely or letting it slip away on things that no longer serve you? Picture this. A man in his late 40s juggles a demanding job, his kids, soccer practices, and trying to carve out an hour or two for himself on the weekend. One day, an old friend calls out of the blue, wanting to reconnect. They chat, and at first, it's nice. But soon, the conversation shifts. The friend complains about their life, rehashes grievances from years ago, and leaves him feeling more drained than before the call. The man hangs up, wondering why he feels heavier instead of lighter. It's because emotional energy works like a battery. Every interaction either charges or depletes it, and as you get older, your battery life becomes even more precious. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, you decide who or what gets your energy. Now let's be honest. How many times have you said yes to something out of guilt, only to regret it later? Maybe it's an invitation to meet someone who brings more drama than joy. Or maybe it's a call you took even though you were already stretched thin. Protecting your emotional energy doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. Ask yourself, does this person bring positivity, peace, or mutual respect into my life? If the answer is no, why are they still in your inner circle? Relationships should feel like an exchange, not a drain. A touch of humor here. Think of your emotional energy like the data plan on your phone. Do you want to waste it on apps you haven't opened in years, or save it for the ones that make your life better? Protecting your emotional energy means setting priorities. It means recognizing that saying no isn't rejection. It's self-preservation. And yes, it can feel uncomfortable at first. But over time, you'll notice the shift. You'll have more room for the people who truly matter, more space for activities that fulfill you, and more peace in your day-to-day life. So, here's the challenge. The next time you're tempted to say yes to something that drains you, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Because when you choose wisely, you're not just protecting your peace, you're honoring the life you've built. Isn't that worth it? Number 3. Avoid emotional baggage from the past. The past has a way of sneaking back into your life, doesn't it? Sometimes it's disguised as an old friend reaching out, full of nostalgia and charm. But here's a question, what else might they bring with them? Because let's be honest, not every part of the past deserves a comeback tour. Imagine a woman in her 50s, life's been busy but peaceful. Then a friend from her college days calls, eager to reconnect. They meet, and at first it's like old times. But as the conversation deepens, so do the reminders. Arguments they never resolved, habits she outgrew, and the weight of unresolved tension. By the end of the meeting, she feels not uplifted but drained, as if she's carried home emotional baggage she didn't pack. Why does this happen? Because old relationships often come with strings attached, ones tied to moments, emotions, and dynamics you've worked hard to outgrow. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And sometimes, reconnecting with the past reopens a loop of thoughts better left behind. Now, think about it. Are you prepared to relive conflicts, reopen wounds, or re-engage with people who once drained your spirit? The version of yourself that tolerated those dynamics has changed. You've grown, learned, and built a life with priorities that might not align with theirs anymore. Here's the humorous part. Inviting an old friend back into your life is like opening a box of forgotten things in the attic. Sure, there's nostalgia, but there's also dust, and maybe even a few cobwebs you weren't expecting. So, how do you avoid taking on this emotional baggage? Start by asking yourself, what value does this person bring to my life today? If the answer is rooted only in the past, it's worth reconsidering. Relationships that no longer serve you should be treated with care, but also with boundaries. Not every call needs to be answered, and not every coffee invite requires a yes. Another thought. What if reconnecting disrupts the peace you've worked so hard to create? Peace is earned, not given, and letting someone disrupt that is a choice, not a requirement. As Epictetus said, people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. Your choice to engage or not defines how much space they occupy in your mind and your life. So ask yourself this, is revisiting this friendship worth risking the emotional balance you've built? Or is it time to gently close that door and focus on connections that align with the life you have now? The answer, as always, lies in your hands and your heart. Number 4. Focus on relationships that fit your present life. Life has a way of reshaping the relationships around you, doesn't it? As you grow older, your priorities change, your values shift, and the people who truly matter often become clearer. The question is, are the friendships in your life today aligned with the person you've become? Or are they echoes of a past you've outgrown? Picture a man in his late 50s. He spends his weekends hiking with a close-knit group of friends who share his love for the outdoors. They talk about life, family, and the small joys that come with slowing down. One day, an old friend from his 20s reaches out wanting to reconnect. They meet for lunch, but something feels different. The friend talks about the same parties, the same dramas, and the same ambitions they had decades ago. Meanwhile, the man realizes that his own priorities, family, health, and meaningful experiences no longer align with the conversation. This isn't about judgment. It's about recognizing that relationships, like seasons, evolve. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. The people who lift you up, challenge you to grow, and share your current journey are the ones worth investing in." So ask yourself, are your relationships today a reflection of your current values, or are they holding you back? Do you feel energized after spending time with someone, or do you leave feeling disconnected and drained? These questions matter because the company you keep has a profound effect on your emotional energy and mental clarity. Here's a lighthearted way to think about it. Imagine trying to squeeze into the clothes you wore in your 20s. Sure, you might laugh at the memory of that old pair of jeans. But would they really fit the person you are today? Friendships are no different. They should feel comfortable and supportive, not restrictive or out of place. Focusing on relationships that fit your present life means being intentional. It's about prioritizing the people who align with your goals and share your values. Maybe it's a neighbor who always checks in, a colleague who shares your passion for personal growth, or a sibling who's been your unwavering supporter. These are the connections that deserve your time and energy. Think about the friendships you cherish most. Are they rooted in shared respect, trust, and mutual support? Or are they based on a sense of obligation to the past? As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Surround yourself with people who color your life in vibrant, positive ways. So, here's a challenge for you. Take a moment to reflect on the people in your life today, who truly enriches your journey, and who perhaps belongs to a chapter you've already closed. The choice to focus on the present is yours, and it's a decision that can transform not just your relationships, but your entire outlook on life. Number 5. Rebuild your social circle with intention. Life has a way of reminding us that the people we surround ourselves with shape the quality of our days. As you move through different stages, some connections naturally fade, while others deepen. But here's the challenge. What if the best friendships of your life haven't even begun yet? How do you rebuild your social circle with intention and purpose? Take a woman in her early 60s. After years of raising her family and focusing on her career, she finds herself with more time and a renewed desire for meaningful relationships. Instead of turning to old acquaintances, she starts attending local gardening workshops and volunteering at a community center. Over time, she meets people who share her interests and values, people who energize her and inspire her to explore new passions. That's the beauty of being intentional about your social circle. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. As Seneca said, one of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. When you choose to invest in relationships that align with your current life, you create connections that feel effortless and deeply rewarding. But here's a question. How often do we cling to old friendships out of convenience, even when they no longer serve us? And how many opportunities for new, enriching connections do we miss because we're afraid to step out of our comfort zone? Rebuilding your social circle doesn't mean starting from scratch. It's about broadening your horizons. Join a local book club, sign up for a fitness class, or attend networking events in your field. These aren't just activities, they're gateways to meeting people who share your mindset and ambitions. Think of it like tending a garden. If you want it to thrive, you don't keep planting the same seeds in the same soil. You experiment, nurture new growth, and occasionally clear out what no longer blossoms. Friendships are the same. They need care, attention, and, most importantly, the right environment to flourish. A touch of humor here. Imagine attending a reunion and realizing the only thing you and an old friend have in common now is a shared dislike for coffee. Wouldn't it be better to meet someone who shares your love for hiking, jazz music, or that obscure podcast you can't stop listening to? So here's something to think about. Who are the people you've been meaning to meet? What new interests have you been putting off exploring? Rebuilding your social circle with intention isn't just about finding new friends. It's about rediscovering yourself in the process. The relationships you cultivate today have the power to enrich your life in ways you might not even imagine. So why not step forward, be open, and create the connections that truly reflect who you are now? After all, isn't it time to plant new seeds for a brighter, more fulfilling season? Number 6. Set boundaries with grace. Boundaries. They're not walls to shut people out, but bridges to protect your peace while maintaining respect. Yet setting them can feel awkward, even intimidating. How do you say no without guilt when an old friend wants to reconnect, but you know deep down that reopening that door could disrupt the balance you've worked so hard to create? Take a man in his late 50s. An old colleague reaches out, eager to catch up. They once shared laughs and late-night projects, but the colleague also had a knack for gossip and stirring up drama. The man hesitates, but agrees to meet. Within minutes, the familiar negativity reappears, leaving him drained and regretting his decision. He realizes he should have protected his time and energy by setting a clear boundary. As Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Boundaries are not about rejecting someone. They're about honoring your own well-being. When you set them with kindness, you affirm your priorities without burning bridges. But here's the catch. How often do you find yourself saying yes because you don't want to seem rude? And how many times has that yes led to resentment later? Protecting your peace doesn't make you unkind. It makes you intentional. The key is to approach boundaries with grace. A polite but firm response like, "I value the memories we share, but my focus right now is on building relationships that align with my life today," can go a long way. It's honest and respectful and leaves no room for misinterpretation. Think of it like hosting a dinner party. You wouldn't let just anyone crash the event, especially if they're bringing chaos to your carefully planned evening. Your life is no different. It's your table, and you get to choose who sits at it. Humor helps too. Imagine someone asking, "Why haven't we caught up in years?" And you reply with a smile, "Well, I've been busy protecting my sanity." Lighthearted, yet truthful. Now, let's dig deeper. Why do we feel guilty for setting boundaries? Is it because we're afraid of being judged or misunderstood? The truth is, people who genuinely respect you will appreciate your honesty, and those who don't, they're proof of why the boundary was necessary in the first place. So here's a question to consider. If protecting your peace requires saying no, what's holding you back? Boundaries aren't just for others. They're a form of self-respect and a way to prioritize the life you've built. Next time someone from your past reaches out, pause. Reflect on what this connection truly brings to your life. Then, with grace and clarity, choose the path that honors your well-being. After all, isn't peace worth preserving? Number 7. Honor the past without recreating it. The past is a beautiful place to visit, but not somewhere you're meant to live. It holds memories, lessons, and moments that shaped who you are today. But here's the truth. Trying to recreate those moments is like chasing the wind. It's better to honor them for what they were and move forward with the wisdom they've given you. Consider a woman in her 60s. While cleaning out her attic, she stumbles upon an old photo album. As she flips through the pages, she smiles at the faces of friends she once knew, the places she once visited, and the adventures she once had. For a moment, she considers reaching out to a name she hasn't spoken in decades. But then she pauses. The connection they had belonged to a specific time, shaped by who they both were then, not who they are now. She decides to preserve the memory, not disrupt it. This is the essence of honoring the past. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look back at the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too." The past is your teacher, not your home. It's meant to guide your choices, not control them. But how often do we let nostalgia trick us into believing that reviving an old friendship will bring back the feelings tied to it? The laughter, the camaraderie, the sense of belonging, they were real, but they existed in a moment shaped by circumstances that no longer exist. Trying to recreate that can often lead to disappointment or worse, disrupt the peace you've built in the present. Imagine someone rewatching their favorite movie from childhood, only to realize it doesn't feel the same. The magic was in the moment, not just the movie. Friendships, too, can lose their spark when taken out of their original context. So how do you honor the past without reopening doors better left closed? Start by reflecting on what those moments meant to you. Write them down, share them with loved ones, or simply carry them in your heart. These memories are treasures, not obligations. You don't need to revisit them to keep them alive. Now let me ask you this. What would happen if you focused on the present relationships that truly align with who you are today? What if, instead of trying to relive the past, you channel that energy into creating new, meaningful connections? Honoring the past means respecting its role in your story while recognizing that your journey continues forward. The life you have now deserves your full attention, your energy, and your gratitude. After all, isn't it more fulfilling to cherish what was while fully embracing what is? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. Nostalgia may tug at your heart, but it often clouds reality. Emotional energy, a finite and precious resource, deserves careful protection. Old conflicts and unresolved baggage should stay where they belong, in the past. The relationships in your life should fit who you are today, not who you used to be. Building a new social circle with intention opens doors to connections that truly uplift you. Setting boundaries with grace allows you to protect your peace without guilt. And finally, honoring the past means cherishing its lessons while staying focused on the life you're living now. These are more than just ideas. They're tools for a more peaceful, fulfilling life. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is its practicality. It helps us navigate the complexities of relationships with wisdom and clarity. But like any skill, this requires practice. So as you move forward, think about how you can apply these lessons in your daily life. What relationships in your life bring you peace, and which ones weigh you down? How will you honor your past while protecting your present? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections or personal stories in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and grow as a community. If this video resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more timeless insights. Together, we'll keep exploring what it means to live with intention.